Right, you can those names are.
Yeah,
Or
we know who we are.
later, yeah. So nobody's on, they're saying, Mr.
Everything's good and we are recording. Just I have to fix the camera, but we can go ahead and start.
Great. Welcome to the Regional District 13 Board of Education Building Committee regular session, Wednesday, April 1st, 2026 at 5 p.m. Please stand for pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag
States of the Union, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And before we go to public comment, go around, introduce name and affiliation. Howard Weisberg, Building Committee.
James Borelli, Project Manager for O&G Industries.
Laurel Purcell, Pre-Construction Manager, O&G Industries.
Maria Visca, Owners Representative for STV.
Lucy Petrella, Board of Ed.
Eric Croy, Facilities.
Bob Moore, Board of Ed.
Sydney Leggett, Superintendent.
Kim Newbig, Director of Finance. Christine Cowan, Board of Ed.
Karen Overton, Building Committee.
Craig Button, Building Committee. John G. Mateo, Building Committee. John Cross, Building Committee. Rob Crossan, Building Committee.
Rusty Nelly, 2AM Architects.
Carson Collier, 2AM Architecture.
Do we have anybody online from the Committee of Board of Ed?
We have Dave Caravanzola and Phil Dwyer.
Okay, and we have two members of the public.
Yep, you want to introduce us?
Sure.
Hi, Tim Dean's, I'm one of the parents of the student.
Okay, I'm gonna open it up to public comment now. Members of the public, are you interested in speaking?
Yeah.
Based on your shirt, I have an idea of what it's about. Great. Yeah, you can go out and make sure the see you.
Yeah, I'm thinking, you're all set.
Good.
Hi, my name is Avery Biens. I'm a junior and one of the captains of the girls tennis team. I'm ready to thank you guys for your continued support of our tennis program and to respectfully share some concerns regarding the condition of our court. Since my freshman year, our courts have been in need of a replacement and their condition has continued to deteriorate each season. 2 years ago, repairs allowed us to use all 5 courts for matches. However, last year, court 1 became unsafe and unusable for matches. This year, the courts have declined further to the point where we are unable to host any home matches due to safety concerns. The cracks risk of injury in competitive match situations. While we're grateful that there are plans for a full replacement with more durable, long-lasting solutions, I'm seeking in hopes that there will be a timeline for this project that can be moved up. At the current rate of deterioration, it is likely that by next year we might not even be able to safely practice on the courts. If replacement is still projected to be 2 or more years away, is it possible that our current freshmen will never have the opportunity to play a home match during their high school careers? Thank you so much for your time, consideration, and continued support of our team.
Thank you.
We will be discussing tennis courts on the agenda today.
I'm gonna also get a public comment.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm a parent of a student in the district that's a student athlete. For me, it's upsetting that the courts are in the condition that they're in. Roughly 10% of the student body participates in tennis if you take the number of the boys and the girls team together. To think about these juniors and seniors that will never have a senior night or a senior event on the court for a home match is upsetting. Because we have great facilities, beautiful campus. And I know that every other athlete participating in their sport is going to have the opportunity to do that. And the athletes that are playing for the tennis team will not have that opportunity. So it's upsetting to me. So I'm hoping that something comes up and it's at least something that's on the agenda for improvement in the future. I think the tennis program is a great program. Kids are great. Like I said, I'm just here to support them as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. As I said, it's going to be on the discussion and there's opportunity for public comment.
Can we make a motion maybe to move item F to the top?
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Well,
Do we have a motion on the table to move item F, tennis court discussion?
if we move on to approval of agenda and make the amendment there.
Yeah, we can do that. Let's do that. Okay. So let's go to, item 3, approval of agenda. We have a.
A motion.
No.
Make an amendment.
Yeah.
Amended moving up to A.
Yeah. Okay, we have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then it is approved. Approval of minutes, March 4th, 2026. Everybody should have gotten a, copy of the agenda, the minutes in their, packet. Have any concerns, discussion? I have a motion to approve the minutes for March 6th, 2026.
Motion approved minutes, March 4th.
Okay, and, it's gonna have a second. Second, any discussion? Okay, motion on table. Approve the minutes, March 4th, 2026. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any approved? Any opposed? No. Motion, passes. So with the amended agenda, 5F is now gonna be, moved up. Discuss that first. Tennis court discussion.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So in the past, we've done repairs to keep the courts going, understanding that the courts were deteriorating, getting the end of their lifespan, and we were discussing replacement of the courts. I guess the question is, Eric, were we unable to repair them as we have in the past in order to engage in play for this year? Have they deteriorated too much, or?
The deterioration of them has continued. So we've done the same patches that we have over the past few years. They are practicing on the courts. I believe we are just making them safe. So aesthetically, they don't look great. We know that the need is there to rebuild them. Whether we go material wise, asphalt or post tension, I think is the big question. And whether it needs to be bonded for is another big question.
But we weren't able to to a level that they can have competition on for this year. That's where we're at.
I can't speak on that. I mean, they are practicing on them. I don't think the condition has, they played on them last year. It hasn't gotten any better, but I think our tennis company did a great job this spring. They were out there for several days, best we could provide.
So they did go out and do repairs.
So we did the
Yeah,
repairs.
yeah.
They did
Yeah.
repairs.
Okay.
So we've options, asphalt versus pre-stress, it's 250,000 to 500,000. So, that's something that the board has the budget so that this group can act upon. And, I don't know what that time frame is, but each year we're putting $25,000 into it. I mean, I agree at some point it doesn't make any sense to repair it any longer, but the money has to be allocated for us to do that project. The good news is once we get the money, it can be done relatively quickly, weather depending. So
I wanted to, oh, sorry.
Just recapping for the public, activities that we've done so far in terms of investigation. We did do a number of cores on the tennis court to determine if the high groundwater was causing any issues. We did some video inspection of the piping. Did we correct?
Under drainage looks sufficient.
Okay, was there a piece that was missing from the plan?
It was a piece that our camera inspected. He didn't have a long enough camera to get through.
Okay, but we think it is there?
It is there. The swale is full of water, last couple of weeks.
Okay,
Monitoring that.
so we don't think there's a drainage issue that's contributing to the,
No, it's hydrostatic. It's surface cracking. At this point, the cracks on the surface, the water is getting into those cracks, making bigger cracks. So it's, the benefit of the post-tension concrete is you really don't need anything that drainage wise. It's a double vapor barrier underneath the courts. It's a much longer product lifespan. If we did asphalt, we're probably looking at, 10 to 12 years replacement again. So it's a tough call which way we want to go, and the price tag is more like $350 for asphalt versus $850 for post tension, so almost $1 million.
But the asphalt can be done with the existing fencing infrastructure in place, whereas the post tensioning essentially requires everything to be unassembled and put back, so there's.
Yeah, and that's correct. Yeah, that's about 60 to 70,000 at savings.
But at the same time, when we started to talk about this in the budget process, because I think everybody wants the courts to be great, and it's something that we all want, but we talked about having like this $350,000-400,000 that we would have to do probably 3 times in the next 30 years, as opposed to doing an estimated maybe 1 million, and then being able to not have to go back to taxpayers again for about 30 years. So the idea is really just being able to have a really good, high quality, long-term fix.
I think the 10 to 12 on the asphalt tennis courts is somewhat misleading. I think best practices can really extend it. Putting in control joints in the asphalt and resurfacing it on a normal strategy. I maintain asphalt pavement for a living. Asphalt pavement can last significantly longer than 12 to 15. I mean, you can get much more life expectancy, but you have to budget routine maintenance in there. And when you look at life cycle cost wise, I think asphalt's gonna be pretty good for what we get. Plus, we also don't end up with no tennis courts in town for 2 years. My personal opinion is, with the fact that we're losing tennis courts at Memorial, there should be a critical effort made to try and get the courts playable.
But they are playable now. I don't think anybody has said that there's any kind of safety hazard. No.
Okay.
So to answer your question a little, or to answer the question regarding the under drainage a little further, the configuration of the TIs was such that they couldn't put the camera down either end of one of the runs.
Okay.
We have every reason to believe it's there, and everything else that was able to be inspected was in good shape and matched the plan. So we believe it's in place and functioning properly. With the borings that were done out there, the groundwater depth was down at least 4 feet.
It was 4 feet, yeah.
Yeah. So based on all the investigation we've done, we don't believe it's a groundwater issue, and the under drainage is functioning properly. This, if the courts are in fact unplayable, this was an unexpected situation. I think we were trying to work towards the longer terms, considering the longer term solution with the pre-stressed concrete. But if the courts are not able to be repaired as they have been each year in the past, then we might need to consider an accelerated replacement, like you're considering with the asphalt.
Whose call is it that there are no home matches? Is it because of the number of courts we have, or?
It's not because of the number of courts. It was just because from my understanding, the courts are playable, they're safe, but they're not optimal for matches because of the way the ball bounces on the cracks. Unless there's something other part of it that I'm missing, Eric.
That's all, Sydney. That's all I've heard as well. I don't know who made that determination that they weren't playable for matches.
I heard that it was whoever approves them for the state, Dennis. I don't know exactly who it was, but they reviewed the courts and deemed them that they weren't fit to be able to play varsity high school. Okay, so there's a difference between safe and having our
I
athletes
haven't
train.
heard anything about that at all.
So our athletes are basically training on something that isn't suitable for match play. That's what it sounds like too.
That's
They
what
may
it
be
sounds
safe, which means you're not gonna they can get hurt necessarily, but it's
It doesn't meet the minimum standards for tennis matches for high school.
it's like, do we know that from somebody?
Yeah, that's news to me.
Well, I guess, like I said, somebody had to make that determination, and there's a minimum standard, and
I mean, our athletic director should know
And the
that.
coaches, it could have been the athletic director. I don't know.
I don't know.
Eric, when were these courts installed?
2010 in fall.
Okay, so they're at 16 years.
Mhm.
So,
I will say that our tennis company does not recommend introducing cracks or joints during install. They highly recommend against that.
And they can't provide any type of warranty on an asphalt court versus post-tension.
Our tenant, and our tennis company is Hindick. Okay.
And we've been repairing these courts since I've been here. So it's been 10 years we've been doing yearly repairs.
So there is some pretty good literature on introduction of control joints in tennis courts.
So, but regardless, we are here, the courts are not being used for competition, they're still being used for practice. The other thing we talked briefly about, how many courts do we actually need? Is the town willing to, maybe jump in on this? I know there's discussion about additional pickleball courts in town, so I think there's a little work there. Right now, the state's not gonna reimburse this, it's not a reimbursable project, so, and I looked at the USDA, they do offer grants at times, but it was like.
It's a tough call for us
Yeah.
we tried to do it before.
Yeah, so that's not anything that we're able to pursue as well. So I think at this point, we'll make a decision, I think, budget wise, whether or not we go asphalt or concrete. But how do we get from point A to point B? Well, that's to be seen. That has to be sorted out through the budget process.
So I got a question. If we were to make a decision to replace the courts starting tomorrow, do we have funds to do a minimal proper asphalt surface court?
Like a 400,000?
Okay, so we're in a situation where these
No.
aren't happening immediately without additional funds.
budget.
None of the existing capital accounts that we've saved money over the years on have enough left in it.
Well, because we're saving for chillers and that kind of stuff, right? So
Yeah,
it can save so
the
much.
culvert, the fire line, those projects are exhausted.
And
Oh, yeah.
well, and just, we've been working a lot on getting a capital plan together, that we can bring to you, that's in the works, but there really are a lot of competing priorities that we have to address. So, I don't want anybody to think that nobody's thinking about the courts. There's a lot that you'll hear about tonight in terms of what we need to do with ADA access, and those kind of things we know are gonna have to come as a priority, not that they might not happen at the same time, but there's a lot on the table.
So I think we need more information on the current condition and playability and the
And liability.
and who's made what decisions. And I think we need to better understand as a building committee and a board where we're at, because this is a new condition. We've been doing these repairs and they've been played on for practice and competition in the past. And if something's changed and we're not capable of competing on them anymore, then
Yeah, whoever said they're not competitive, competition worthy might have said as they are, and it might be a $5,000 fix. If he's just looking at it and saying, these are not for competition. Without saying why.
I guess my concern is the decision was made without informing
Anybody.
Anybody,
Yeah. facilities and the superintendent on that decision. So I found out.
I knew the matches were gonna be away, because of complaints about the courts being optimal for
Mhm.
play, and it was about the ball bouncing.
they're not.
Right,
We know.
and I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. I have not had any reports coming to me that they're unsafe or that somebody from the state said they're not competition worthy. Those must be rumors or nobody.
What would it take to make them optimal enough
Yeah.
to get competition?
Well, yeah, what would it take to allow it to be
The
competition?
reason why I'm asking is because it's a new situation. And if this is truly the case, then it seems that it makes these repairs more of a priority. And that we should
So it's
be
not.
more
really
aggressive in
a
allocating funding.
Situation, I don't think we're any really worse than we were last year,
Right.
but because it's not optimal, right?
This playability is a new situation.
Right, so there's, I don't wanna say complaints, but there's concerns with the ball not bouncing right, not being to play at the same level as another team. So that could have played into the fact of having them also.
Mhm.
I think we just need more information on how that decision was made and by whom.
And Eric, this is not just a $5,000 fix. I mean, these repairs that we're doing on a regular basis each year cost roughly.
20,000.
So we're putting money into these courts to make them playable.
We are, I don't know where the playability, I don't know what is required for them to be playable. This is all kind of new to me, and I think Sydney and athletics as well. I don't know who made that determination.
No, I mean, I knew that the matches were gonna be away, but that came mostly from my understanding of the coaches complaining about the optimal training. That decision is not a surprise to me. It's the bigger fix of, when and how we repair the courts. I mean, if the building committee wants the board to discuss not having any matches away, we can do that. However, then we know that the kids would be playing on courts that are not ideal, right? And we don't want that either. So this seemed to be a good way forward where they're still safe to play on. They can have the practices there, but they have a good court for their matches.
I think we just have to get clarity on liability, safe to play on, how long are they safe to play on? If they're heaved anywhere on the surface, that's not safe to play on. There could be no tripping hazards, there could be no displacement between the levels and the cracks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we need more information. As for deciding whether or not to go asphalt and concrete, we have to look at the life cycle costs and figure out what the best solution is.
No, I'm more than happy to have a conversation with the athletic director, the coach, whoever, to come to the best resolution on this.
And I know, obviously, I know them well too, so we can definitely have a
I
nice
would love it
chat.
if you were there.
Yes, we can definitely have a nice discussion.
On the resolution of playing this year or on the long-term fix of the courts?
Everything.
I have to say, if we could have fixed this so that it would have been optimal playing, we would have done
We
it.
would have.
So it's either gonna be the 20,000 repair or the 400,000.
One of the big challenges is the courts have to be ready before you can really do a lot of asphalt work,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the season, and I've had this discussion with the tennis parents a lot when I was one, the time to really do good work on the tennis courts is, unfortunately after the season ends. And the winters destroy the courts and, unfortunately we have to be on the courts in March. So, but, we can, we'll reach out to, the coaches and chat.
Yeah, spending $20,000 to do a repair each year is a significant effort.
Mhm.
We're not just going out there and spending $500 with a bucket or whatever to fill in cracks. I mean, this is supposed to be a substantial repair that's done each year. Buys some time to get through replacement.
And who did the repairs? Hindig? Okay. Yeah, we'll do a little side.
It's fine. I think we've discussed this more than enough for tonight.
Great. All right, we'll go on to, memorial expansion. Who wants to start? Marnie, I'll let you start.
Oh, okay, thanks. Phase 2 abatement work is, I didn't want to take all his thunder. Work is going on site, phase 2, abatement. We had our first owner architect contractor meeting on Tuesday, with QAM and with Jay and some other O&G folks in the trailer. So that went really well. And we did a site walk. Eric was there. We took a look at progress, and the abatement demo contractor is making good headway. They're very clean. They pick up after themselves. So it was a well-organized site. Phase 3 bids are still currently out to bid and will be coming in on the 9th, April 9th. We also had a Teams meeting with the town attorney regarding some concerns he has with the GMP, which I'm sure we'll get into this evening. And Laurel has a proposal from O&G for phases 1 and 2 to kind of try to memorialize that in lieu of a full GMP. And I'm thinking that's about it for now. Any specific questions?
No concern, no complaints or concerns from anybody about the work that's occurring so far?
No, no concerns about the work that's occurring so far, no complaints. There's There's another, neighborhood notice, getting posted on the town website that was provided by ONG. Just keeping neighbors in the loop and keeping communication going. There's a significant amount of temporary fence that's already been installed on the site, you know, providing a safety barrier. So yeah, all's good. I have, as you all know, I've been working quite a bit on assembling the first pay request to the state. It's about 370 pages of invoices that are all cataloged on the state spreadsheet. However, I had some questions about the form, and the grant office wasn't really willing to have a meeting with us. So Kim and I decided today to hold off submitting that. It's approximately $5 million. The town's currently bonded for 20, so we have sufficient funds. But as it stands, the state form is worded that we need to input all of the final contracted values before we submit a pay application. And as you know, we're still waiting for phase 3 bid results. So it's ready to go, but we're gonna hold it just a little longer.
Just another couple.
Yep. So no financial impact, but I did want to provide you with an update.
Right, any questions for STV? Great, Laura, I'll turn it over to you.
You want to do this?
You guys have a bunch to talk about. Do you want to? I was just gonna say ditto. Okay, great. There you go.
Make it easy.
Yeah, I was gonna give them the last.
I did want to introduce Jay Lucarelli. He's going to be the project manager. He is out there now overseeing the phase 2 work, and will be continuing on through phase 3. I do have an update. This way.
Jay, what was the last project you're coming from?
I just got off project at Hatchka School up in Salisbury.
Oh, nice.
We did their dining hall.
Yeah.
I was up there for a couple of years. And prior to that, I was in Simsbury, doing an elementary school. With a phase project with the students actually there.
I have enough.
A lot more, a lot harder than.
This will be a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we worked very hard to avoid that situation.
Yeah, no, thank you.
All right, so familiar format, just hadn't seen it in a while. Really, prior to this update was just really getting the phase together, and the phase 3 is going out to bid. But I actually put dates down in here so you can memorialize, you know, how we've been spitting out these addendas pretty much on a weekly basis ever since March 4th. We've been working on this draft guaranteed maximum price proposal for phases 1 and 2, again, just to kind of memorialize where we are cost-wise between the swing space work that was done last summer and the phase 2 work that we've just bid. We just issued addendum number 4 last Thursday, and we'll be issuing addendum number 5 tomorrow. The upcoming pre-construction activities, continuing bidding phase 3. Again, we are planning on doing the bid opening next Thursday. When you see tomorrow's addenda, you'll have the link to the bid opening. It'll be right on the front page there if anybody's interested in joining. There is an extension that's going to be given for the roofing because there's still some revisions that are being made to those technical specifications. So I will be delaying the roofing bid for tomorrow's addenda. And even though we're preparing GMPs and whatnot, I plan per the little teeny tiny schedule that's on the bottom, we should have our roofing bids in by the time we're wrapping up the entire GMP. But, you know, we're just going to keep an eye on it. They're not a critical contract to start. We're going to need them, you know, fairly soon, but this delay that's going to happen is not going to impact what we need to do out there for now. Once the bids come in on April 9th, we will then be scheduling, I'll basically be spending Friday scheduling all the scope reviews for the following week. So the following week is basically the April 13th. We do plan on scoping what we'll call critical contractors. This is not typical like a new building where, okay, a new building, you just really need site concrete, steel, and your mechanical contractors. I mean, we need to start with renovation right away. So we need to order door frames and windows and, you know, everything that's could be a long lead, so we need to start putting the building back together. So that's why there's such an extensive, what I would consider an extensive list of what we're calling critical. These are the critical people that we need because they may have long lead items for our renovation work. Because we're doing both things simultaneously. We're doing renovation while we're building the buildings. And then I have a graphic that on the computer, I apologize for the font being so small. It was much nicer on the computer. I have highlighted when we're gonna need approvals to stay on our schedule. So again, I'm anticipating the roofing. I'm gonna probably be pushing it off to, I think in tomorrow's addenda, I'm gonna say that the roofing bid will be due, I think I did May 7th or something, like I'm picking a month. But in the end, it'll probably be somewhere towards the end of May by the time we're done. Having scope review of the critical trade contracts, and then I'm gonna be asking you to meet on the 22nd to, which I think you guys have agreed to. That's when we're gonna go through this list of the critical trade contracts. In the meantime, I'll be scoping the rest. Go right, once we get the first round done, we go right into the rest of them. And then, I have this GMP determination. I'm picking the 13th. I have no idea when. You probably don't have a meeting on the 13th in May. I didn't even check your schedule.
George does.
Okay, well, there might be something happening on the 13th. This GMP determination, just trying to stay ahead of the phase 3 construction start date of May 19th. That's when we're planning on starting the rest of our work. So I'm trying to get to you something that's a total financial picture of where the bids have landed. One thing I will note, when the bids come in, minus the roofing, we're gonna have to have a conversation on alternates. Let's not forget about that. Remember, we had a long list of alternates, a long laundry list of alternates. I want to say it was 13. So we need to be mindful. It could be more, yeah. We need to be mindful when the bids come in. On April 9th, I'm not seeing you again. I gotta just start scoping based on base bid. But it may change who our base bid, who our successful contractors are based on alternates. So I'm thinking I may not be able to wait till the 22nd.
April 22nd?
Yeah.
If I could start a conversation here, normally I wouldn't interrupt Laurel, but before the meeting, I started thinking about, the 90-day requirement that the state has from receipt of bids to execution of a GMP. So, the meeting that took place with the town's attorney earlier this week really had to do with his concerns about signing GMPs in a phased manner, which has been commonplace in the school construction industry for quite a while. I'm familiar with it. O&G does it. O&G's original intent was to come to you today with a GMP for phase 1 and phase 2 and have that GMP signed. And then subsequently, when phase 3 bids came in, an amendment to that GMP would be put in place to capture those packages. However, upon review of O&G's draft GMP, the attorney from Shipman had some concerns with some language in Connecticut general statutes that apparently was amended in 2024 that in his opinion has eliminated our ability or O&G's ability to issue multiple GMPs or amendments to the GMP. And instead, he feels that only one GMP can be signed.
And I don't know if I want to get into the weeds with this right now because there's a solution.
I don't.
Yeah.
But I do want to point out that I just ran a calculation on the date we received phase 2 bids, which was February 10th. 90 calendar days from that is May 11th. So we need to push these days, figure out how to accommodate that 90-day time limit in these dates to get that GMP signed before the 90 days expire. So we're not.
So we'll just schedule
violation
special
of that.
meetings where we need to.
Yep, so I just wanted to bring that up, explain it, so Laurel could adjust her schedule.
The reason I was pausing is because when the bids come in on April 9th, And let's just say that you are. Trying to think what's the worst scenario, under budget or over budget? If we're under budget, that means you're gonna wanna start picking alternates. And that's gonna determine who our successful bidders are. So I may need to see you between the 9th and the 22nd, because I don't know how I can come with an approval if I'm not sure which alternates you guys are gonna wanna do. So if we come in under budget, we're gonna wanna hold a meeting. Because we're gonna need to discuss which alternates you want, because that may impact who our bidders, who our
We'll know that
successful
on the
bidders
9th.
are. Huh?
And we'll know that on the 9th.
We're gonna know that on the 9th, yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on the budget. We'd be happy to have an extra meeting.
Yes, yes, because I don't think I can wait till the 22nd.
Yeah,
So
well,
we originally had one on the 15th that we canceled, but we can put that back.
Put it back up.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be that night. It can be anytime you want to talk about it, but it should be really quick after the 9th.
Now, that is spring recess, so I don't know if any of you guys.
Well, I'm thinking like the 10th, like we need to talk about.
That's why we thought the 22nd would be better too, because I didn't know if you guys have been traveling.
You want to do the 10th? That's a Friday, right?
Yeah, that would be better because then we'll know where we're headed.
Well, if we're significantly under budget, it might just be select all.
Okay, I would go with that. It's gonna get complicated if it's gonna be some or none or what or this.
We have ads and deducts, so I think it'll be a little bit more of a pick and choose selective kind of approach for some of that, but.
You'll be ready for it
well,
before.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
I'm
think,
ready that night.
I think you, you should go through it and figure out what if we're under budget, you need to figure out which alternates we can afford. That-
Yeah,
We're not gonna put alternates that we can't afford, so you gotta kind of put a little bit of stuff, in, hey, this is what you got. How's it look,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, well, we can talk about that Thursday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably, okay.
Was there any prioritization established to the budget, to
To
the
the-
alternates?
I don't know, we did not establish a priority. We did make a couple of them deducts. Which are gonna affect, like the canopies, they affect more than one trade. So if we're over.
It's not gonna be a simple decision.
It's not gonna be a simple decision,
I'll bring my magic 8 ball. Don't worry.
so.
Might have some that you need to scope.
Yeah, so we should try to do something on the 10th, and then you can always cancel if we don't need it. We should try to do something on the 10th.
And then the 15th too, or because.
I don't know, I think you just need direction about the alternates.
Okay, so we'll do the 10th.
All right, so sorry, I got into Wonderland there. All right, so I was looking for something from you on the 22nd to approve, and then, once we're done scoping everybody else, we'll do the formal GMP towards the end. And then you'll see the pre-construction services complete. I have a date there because that's cake for me. That's cake for me. That means I'm done.
So April 10th, we're gonna do a meeting
Yes.
on Friday.
And trying to, yes.
All right, and then the backside is construction stuff, so I'll let Jay give an update as far as stuff that he's been working on out in the field.
So we mobilized on March 16th. And that's when our demo abatement contractor was on site. We started cleaning out the building, got a lot of the extra furniture and stuff like that was in there. And did some demo, and then he got right into abatement. So the asbestos abatement for the floors, that's completed on ED and A and B. Just C wing he's in there currently. He should be done by tomorrow and get clearances. He's now gonna go into PCBs, do the abatement for the PCBs. And that's gonna start, and then we'll roll into the tunnels probably next week, once we get our plan approved. So he's working on a confined space plan since we get to that. And then he'll continue on regular demolition once all the containments are down.
So it sounds like removal of the flooring is going fairly quickly.
But very quick.
Wasn't there some concern? Didn't we have discussion about that being recent difficulty in doing that? No?
No, I think what we were trying to do was categorize it a little better because we didn't really have enough samples. We took the minimum samples, so I think we had a great scope at the end. So,
Yeah, there's additional testing that was done, remember? I think that's what it was, trying to clean up.
Great. Oh, there, it's going well.
It's going very well.
And then as far as schedule impacts, items being tracked, I know the OSTA is imminent, hopefully. We're getting an AD letter, administrative decision letter approval is supposed to be coming. We need something for that in order to pull the building permit for phase 3. So we're trying to be respectful of the building officials' time frame to review and provide us a full building permit for phase 3. So
So
that's
just-
gonna go hand.
Just related to the OSTA approval, at that point, I think I forwarded you both an email just indicating that, we should be getting the final letter next week. We did receive confirmation that the plan's been approved, but the formal letter should be in our hand next week. So hopefully that will keep us on track for everything we need for the building permit.
And then the DEP is just, it's just a curveball that we got thrown because the way that they do general permits now has changed. ONG pulled the permit, we have the permit in hand. Usually we like to have the site contractor become the responsible permittee during construction. So we're just trying to go through the nuances of how to do that, but we do have the permit in hand.
So for us, though, when you get that TIR letter, I believe it needs to be filed on the land records and a copy sent back. Okay,
Yes.
that's all in process.
Yeah.
Great.
And then I sent out a reminder about P and Z. We have to have a
Yeah.
pre-construction meeting with P and Z before we start as well.
Yep, so we got a site contract.
So that's it for our construction update. If anybody has questions, either pre-construction or construction or where things are headed.
You ready? Good.
We're great. Rusty, Preston's yours.
Yeah. Just to chime in real quick, don't need to belabor anything we've already talked about there. One other item that I'll just bring it back up for the group, is the need for a deep monitoring service for the district. We're getting to that critical point where the district will have to have that. It's an independent service outside of the construction team to monitor the work that they're doing.
Bid for that, did somebody get me, I think you were working on getting me a draft RFP where you guys was.
So Yeah, I know there's been some discussion between Marty and Kim and myself, for all that, but we're just getting to that critical time in the next month or so, where we'll want to make sure that we're just keeping ahead of the construction schedule there. So just putting that back on everyone's radar there. At that point, other
What's
than
that
that,
monitoring for?
it's pretty much your stormwater management, essentially. After every rain event, you'll have
That's the weekly inspections?
Yeah,
the weekly inspection.
I have our site contractor providing that.
Site contractors doing the weekly inspections? And maintaining the reports and all the information on site in the job trailer? Who's doing the closeout inspections? To file the notice of termination? Is that on the
I'm a site
contractor?
contractor too. If we look at my special instructions, I'm pretty sure I gave it to everything to them.
We'll do that. That should be fine.
Okay,
It's like the turbidity testing that you have to do.
but yeah, that has the final inspection and notice of termination comes a year after completion.
Yes, I have instructions about that.
Maybe we just get the name of who they're using.
Yes, once we hire them.
Yes.
So then we don't need to hire an independent person. to do
Not
this.
for the turbidity, no, not for any, that stormwater. So,
I thought Deep required an independent because it's site
They
contractors.
can, but I think they can hire, it has to be, they can't do it themselves.
Yeah,
They have to hire a qualified party to do
Yes.
this. right?
third party, that's right.
independent, yeah, I haven't.
Independent,
They
so
change, Rusty.
Is the person independent, if
Never
they're
know.
being hired by the site contractor would be the question. We've always had an independent.
Yeah.
Hired by the owner.
Yeah, I've done them both, but I don't know, sometimes they change a lot of stuff up there every 6 months now, so who knows,
And who knows what's in the new permit?
right?
I don't know.
Well,
I just,
yeah, well, not to belabor that anymore.
Yeah, I just don't
Maybe
like that.
we'll regroup with ONG, kind of get a clarification on what their special instruction is, what they're owning within the phase 3 bid, and we'll interface a little bit more with you, Kim and Sydney, and we'll get an action plan going on there.
Phase 4 furniture?
oh yeah, you just took through my GMP.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Didn't he
So-
say you could,
Yes.
on the proposal? The proposed to me.
Correct. So I'm just gonna piggyback a little bit on what Marnie said, is we did talk to the attorney. He said we're okay. He wanted us to put GMP proposal in here. If there's gonna be more than one, there's gonna be one GMP, but there's going to be an amendment to that because we don't have phase 3. So does that make sense to you, Greg? I know you work in the industry, but he's looking at this tomorrow and he was gonna give us comments tomorrow, but he said in the meantime, because we're planning an amendment, we can go ahead and do this. And then we may need to just restructure our contract with ONG, just do an amendment to our contract because there did just say one GMP. So it's just paperwork.
Well, I just wanted to walk you guys through the information, so I did send this electronically. Hopefully, everybody got it.
We do, yeah.
This is called a proposal. I took all the words about exhibit out. There's no AIA document. No, okay, just. And this is just capturing phases 1 and phase 2. And I'll just walk you through the information. Because this is a similar format that you're gonna see for phase 3, which is the real final GMP. It's gonna be in this same type of format, only they'll be called exhibits as opposed to attachments.
Laurel, before you start diving in, I just wanted to let you know we have a board meeting at 6, so we have a hard stop in about 15 minutes.
All right, well then I'll just go through the cost, because the rest of it's just fluff, right? So the cost summary, price proposal, phases 1 and 2. The top is just the 2 contracts. I have CM allowances in here for phase 2. It's $70,000. It's just for the abatement for some additional lead-based paint abatement and shoring in case we need it, as well as demolition of a block wall backup that we discovered during scope review. This is just a number that we put there. We will not spend it without the building committee's approval, the owner's approval, but it's just something in there to protect the budget for now. And then we put in the CM reimbursables and general conditions, all the staffing, that's inclusive of phase 3. We're just putting it in here now instead of trying to apportion it out. We did already pay for that permit fee. We've got our field office set up. We did some advertising, and then the rest is just the percentages. So there's 3,866,238 is for just the phase 2 aspect. Rolling in, this is your final amount for phase 1. This is where we are to date, 5,700,324. This is all in, all costs, phases 1 and 2. So you guys can look at it, and I guess you don't have to vote on it, right? But just so you guys have it.
I think
We are voting.
Yeah, if accept it. And then we can make any changes to the addendum when we do it for phase 3.
Right. So if anybody has any questions, it's pretty, this one's pretty simple. Phase 3 will have probably 4 pages of assumptions clarification.
And we'll get you that one, plenty of time to read.
Yeah.
We won't ask you to do it this fast next time.
So it's just really the list of documents, and I've included the phase 2 schedule, because phase 1 doesn't matter anymore. I've got the phase 2 schedule that's actually part of the contract documents included.
So Laura, we have to do this in order to be able to pay American. Is that right?
Well, your purchase order to O&G should be for that 5,700,000, yeah, so that we would have an AIA, pay request down that's gonna reflect that. Because we're gonna build on phase 1.
So we need a motion to accept this so you can create the invoice.
Yeah.
And the motion should sound something like, motion to approve the guaranteed maximum price proposal for phases 1 and 2 in the amount of 5,700,324. Does anyone want to make that motion, John? Okay.
Okay, I have a second to that motion.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table to accept the guaranteed maximum price proposal, $5,700,324. As Kim had explained. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
We move on to this point now?
Yes.
Yeah, but the time for invoices.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very-
and then we'll do it, we'll do it, I'll be very fast. Phase 4 furniture fixtures, we got the jump on that. Person set us up with 3 vendors that Carson, Patty, and I met with individually. And all 3 of them were amazing. They were great. They can all get us the same products of the vendor, the state, MHUC. They can all get us the same products, but so we were interviewing customer service. And we did find one vendor that we really thought we could work well with. One of them was very hands-on, be under the desk making adjustments, and the other one was very, the partners, they were very organized. And in terms of setting up mock classroom, they would have like barcodes for people to vote for the kinds of furnitures they like, showing the different possibilities. So we would like to move forward with Creative Office Resources. They've done a lot of work in Meriden. And we think they're, well, everybody was great, but we think they're the best fit customer service wise for us. So just updating you guys, everybody's going to provide us with the same price. It's just the customer service piece.
Awesome.
Okay. All right, great.
Okay, approval of invoices.
Yep, I have those. I wonder if I can get out all my copies. Sydney, can I? Okay, quick. We have an invoice for STV, invoice number 1570, the amount of $9,400. That's for owner's rep services. We have Michael Horton Associates, invoice 25-246.B1, $9,800. That's for the engineering code consult, third party. Shipman and Goodwin, invoice 679530, $95, legal fees. US Bank, invoice 7931477, $850. It's kind of a lingering invoice from our bond closing fees. QA&M, invoice 17824, $23,763. That's for bidding services, traffic study, and well and septic design. Eversource, account 5189-758-0163, $913.67 for portables, 5 and 6 electricity for February. Mobile modular, 2870447, $3,239, and that's for the month of March rental. Acrisure, invoice 29429, $105,489. That's our builder's risk insurance that was effective March 17th. And O&G, invoice number 2, $124,637.25. That's for pre-con services and steel pre-detailing and the CM fee.
Nicely done.
All right, motion to approve invoices as described by Kim.
Can I have a second?
I'll say.
Great, so we have a motion on the table to approve all of the invoices as described by Kim. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Rusty, you have 3 minutes to introduce the ADA report.
I'll take it.
Oh, you want to take it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, thank you to Rusty and Carson who came through and did this ADA study for us, just an initial report. We don't expect you to do anything with it tonight, but we wanted to make sure that you had it to review. You're probably going to be hearing quite a bit about it in the next few months to a year, but it's obviously a really thorough report in terms of looking at both Strong and the high school in terms of ADA needs, and we do have some needs that we need to address. There's a lot of little things that we know we can do along the way. We do have some money in both schools to be able to do some ADA work. I don't know if it's going to be enough to do everything, but those are the first steps that we're going to take. So the first things that we want to move forward with is we're going to start an RFQ for design services for the front entryway at Strong, which is obviously noted as a high priority to make sure that we have a secure and ADA friendly entryway to that school. And then the priority up at the high school for that design bid is going to be to look at the auditorium. The auditorium is the issue up here that's gonna probably need the most attention ADA wise. And I'm sure you've all been in the auditorium, and I'm sure you know some of the things that were in the report that what we're talking about. So in terms of, so the first steps is really to put out that bid for that design work so we can start getting an idea of the scope of the work. And then the second part will be that Kim, Eric, Patty, and I have all been meeting as we're putting together this like a more comprehensive capital plan. We'll take all of these pieces from the ADA and put those into the capital plan. The issue that we'll be working with is because of reimbursement and state projects, they'll have to be bundled, 2 projects, one in the middle school, one in the high school. Did I miss anything?
No.
Kim or Eric, do you want to add anything?
That's great.
Okay.
I did notice that there was some nice outside work that could be done. They talked about the complex, and there was some maybe lower hanging fruit that could be addressed without having to go through,
Like the sidewalks, curbs.
Sidewalks, some curbing, accessible. exterior accessibility issues,
Yeah.
some ramp improvements, things like that,
Mhm.
that could be addressed, independently.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The other priority at Strong besides the entrance to, that, is the elevator. The elevator at Strong, needs replacement.
Great. So this will be an agenda item moving forward. Great. Awesome.
I have a couple hard copies if anybody wants one. I did send it electronically, but. I have approval to go out to issue the RFP, right? We're all good with an RFP for
Design.
Yeah.
signing.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Let's go now.
All right, any other questions, comments? Open it back up to public comment. Anybody online?
If anyone is online who has public comment, please raise your hand.
Look in the room. Thanks for your patience. Any further comment? No? Thanks for coming.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion sure.
How do we do, Sydney? 2 minutes to spare?
We have 4 minutes. You want to talk about anything else?
Does anybody want to be able to go up to the job site? I don't know if you want.
Yeah, that'd be
What
awesome.
the protocols are, what are the protocols if somebody wanted to stop by?
Yeah, but like it's through occasional for photo updates so we can get.
Yeah, just stop by the trailer. Anytime, check in and.
Is there a safety thing that they have to go through?
Yeah, we'll walk there. We'll have some walk.
We'll give a call ahead.
You go through. How we do for you, just to keep.
Copy, just copy me. If I'm working on, I'll.
We're there.